These are the places I'd want you to see, and the things I'd want you to experience. We're going to explore the Venetian Harbor and castle. We're going to walk through the town, spend some time on our beaches, and I'll show you some of the things happening here during the summer, from local events and art exhibits to a traditional village panigiri and concerts. This isn't just a list of tourist attractions. I want to show you Nafpaktos the way we actually experience it when you live here. The places we go, the things we do, and what summer in Nafpakto really feels like. So we're starting right here at the Venetian Harbor, which is really the heart of Nafpaktos. And honestly, I see this place all the time, so sometimes I forget just how much history is actually sitting here, right in front of us. This harbor has been here for centuries, and during the time the Venetians controlled Nafpaktos, they built up these big stone walls around it to protect it. They could actually put a chain across the entrance of the harbor to stop the ships from coming in. I mean, can you imagine that? You look at it now, and all these cute little fishing boats sitting here, and it's hard to picture what this place used to look like. Now I'm going to take you around the outside of the harbor walls. And this is another thing I love about this area. Right behind these old Venetian walls, you're already at Psani Beach. So you can literally be walking around this centuries-old harbor, and a few steps later, you're right along the waterfront and the beach. We're going to spend more time at Psani a little later in the video. I'm going to walk you around this side of the harbor and take you up these little steps. Oh yes, you can also see the castle from here. Now I'm just walking around the other side of the harbor wall. I love these little passageways. You can actually walk right through these old stone walls from one side of the harbor to the other. And from here, I'm going to head up the stairs because there's something I want to show you up here. Right up here overlooking the harbor is the statue of Georgios Anemoyanis. And there's a pretty interesting story behind why he's here. He was a young Greek sailor from the island of Paxos, and during the Greek War of Independence in 1821, he came here to Nafpaktos. He tried to set fire on one of the Ottoman ships in the harbor. Unfortunately, he was captured here and lost his life. That's why you'll see his statue standing up here today, looking out over the harbor. And I think it's one of those things you could easily walk past without knowing the story behind it. You see the statue, the Greek flag, and the old cannons, and it looks beautiful, but once you know what happened here, it means a little bit more. Now we're going to head up toward the castle of Nafpaktos. And one of the really cool things about this castle is that the walls you saw down at the harbor actually continue all the way up this hill to the castle. The history here goes way back. Parts of these walls were actually from ancient and Byzantine times. And then when the Venetians controlled Nafpaktos, they added to them and gave the castle much of the look that we see today. The whole thing was built on different levels going down the hill. So basically, that if somebody got through one section, there were still more walls protecting the city. I'm not taking you inside the castle on this video. I've done a video in the past about it. You can go check that out. But what we are going to do is come to the coffee shop. And I like bringing people up here because, first of all, this is the most beautiful view of Nafpaktos from up here. So you're not coming up here for a full meal, but you can have a coffee, a drink, something sweet, or an ice cream, sit back and look at this view. So this is one of my favorite ways to see Nafpaktos because from here, you can really understand how the whole town is laid out. You can see the harbor, the beaches, the rooftops, the Corinthian Gulf, and on a clear day, you can see all the way across towards the Peloponnese. So even if you're not in the mood to walk around the entire castle, I would still come up here and have a coffee and enjoy the view. So when you look down from here, you can really see how clever the whole design was. The castle is at the top and the walls come all the way down the hillside, and eventually they meet at the harbor. There's actually 5 different levels of defenses built into the hillside. Isn't that cool? Okay, now we're just going to walk around for a little bit, and I'll show you some of the everyday things you'll see when you're here. And we're starting with something that's definitely saying summer in Greece, and that's watermelon. This truck was parked right at the beginning of our laiki. That's our weekly outdoor market, and when you see watermelons piled up like this, you know summer is definitely here. So let's head into the laiki. This is where a lot of us come for fresh fruits and vegetables, and you'll find whatever happens to be in season at the time. It's colorful, it's busy, and it's just one of those normal parts of everyday life here that I think is fun to experience when you're visiting. We come really early, like 7:30, 8 o'clock, so we can get the best of the fruits and veggies. But if you come later on in the afternoon, that's fine too. And sometimes if you come at the end, the prices, I guess, they lower the prices.
Καλημέρα. Έχουμε τίποτα. Δεν στείλω το μαξότ, μία αυτή, πάντα μας. Κυρία, 1 ευρώ μελιτζάνες παλιακές, χωραφίσεις. 1 ευρώ και πιπεριές, κυρία μου, και φέρνω και μελιτζάνες πολυτελείες.
Πήρε η μάνα μου, μόνο... Πήρε η μάνα.
Να πήρε σημαίνει, έτσι και γελάς και να θέλω.
Σε σένα πήρε.
Ωραίο βίντεο, καλά, εντάξει. Ευρώ σου λέω, κοπέλα. Δεν σπινείς, πώς σου λένε.
Ναι, του χρόνου θα γίνω μπέπα.
Ένα ευρώ έχω και κάτω και κομμοντόρια και ρολ. Τα μεγάλα μεθαύριο στο δίπλα.
These next clips are just from different days walking around Nafpaktos. This is one of the best ways to experience the town. Just walk around, take your time, stop for a coffee, look in little shops, and see where you end up. Everything is pretty close together, so you really don't need a plan. Here's a little tip if you need to use a bank while you're here. So you walk up to the door and then you have to press the button to let you into the first door and then another button to let you into the second door. It's a security system. We have it in all the banks here. I wasn't used to this in the beginning. Well, I didn't know that this existed because we didn't have it in Canada or the States. So I thought I'd show you. And of course we have to talk about the food. There's so many different places to eat. From traditional Greek tavernas to modern restaurants. These are just a few meals from different nights out. So you're definitely not going to go hungry here.
Is chocolate, bananas with a cherry
Cookie?
cookies with a cherry syrup inside.
Beautiful.
It's the most
And bananas.
delicious.
Very good.
You're not going to come here to make money. You're coming here to live a certain life.
That's his way. It's gold.
Yeah.
Oh man. Now we're heading down to Gribovo, which is one of the two main beaches. It's right in town. Gribovo is on the left side of the harbor, and this whole stretch is lined with cafes, so it's a great place to come sit for coffee, just enjoy the water, and of course go for a swim. Here's another nice little thing here. They have this little book stand here, and it opens at night, and you can buy books. I love it. I think it's a really nice addition. And that's only in the summer. So during the day in Gribovo, it's really relaxing. You'll see people swimming, having their coffee, sitting under the trees, or just walking along the waterfront. And remember, this is all right in town. You don't have to drive somewhere to get to the beach. Also, this beach has the platania, these trees, the huge trees, which they say it's kind of rare to see this next to, the sea. These types of huge trees, which are good for shade. They're maple trees, actually, but here they're called platana. I don't want to forget to mention that the one side of the street is lined with hotels and Airbnbs, and you can also have lunch or dinner here. We'll come by here at night so you can see what's happening at night, but yes. Hotels, cafes, restaurants, all along Gribovo Beach. Now we're going to head over to the other side of the port on the right side, which is Psani Beach. And that's a totally different type of beach. There it's more rocky and it goes deep, where Gribovo is more shallow and it's sandy. Now, same concept here. The hotel's on the one side and all restaurants and coffee shops along the other side. You don't have to pay for chairs here, which is great at either one of the beaches. Hi. I thought I was going to drop dead from the heat.
Yeah.
Now we're going to head about 10 kilometers outside of Nafpaktos to a little seaside village called Monastaki. This is another place that I like to bring people that are visiting. We're going to start here in the little harbor where it's quiet and picturesque. And they have the fish tavernas all around here. You can have a nice fish dinner or lunch. And then we're going to head over to Blue Lake, which is a little bit further down, still in the same strips, just around the corner. And here it's a different experience. Here it's more of a beach bar. You can come down here, get a sunbed. Unfortunately, here you have to pay for the sunbeds, unless you go to the sides where they have the free beds. But you can spend the whole day here swimming, eating, drinking. They usually have a live DJ on Sundays. A lot of young people come here. The water here is crystal clear. I mean, you don't want to get out of the water. The only thing is it's got the big rocks, so you probably have to wear shoes, or else, unless your feet are like really hardcore. I can barely step on the rocks. Other than that, it's amazing. There's also a spa and a gift shop here where you can shop. They have really cute things.
Where's the coffee coming from? Jesus Christ.
See what I mean about how clear the water is? And the rocks, so you do need shoes here. I stopped and got a coffee, freddo cappuccino. This is like the best thing ever invented, because I'm going over to the beach. But before I do that, there's an art exhibit in town, and I want to check it out. It starts between 11 and 1, and then again at night. So I want to go see. And it's at the mosque, the old mosque on the port. I've never been in there, so it should be pretty interesting. This is something new that I got, little ham and cheese. Very good. It's so hot out. Almost 40 degrees. Too much. And it's very humid. So right after the art show, I'm gonna go jump right in the water. This is good. This exhibition is called Onar, which means dream, and it's by a Greek artist, Kostis Georgiou. He's actually a very well-known painter and sculptor whose work has been shown all over the world. And what I thought was really cool is the location. The exhibition is held inside the old Fethiye Mosque, right here by the harbor. So you're walking into this historic building and seeing all this really modern, colorful art inside. I just thought the combination was beautiful. This particular exhibit runs from July through October, but I'm showing you this because if you're visiting Nafpaktos in the summer, always check what's going on. You might find an art exhibit, a concert, a festival, or something else happening while you're here. And from the art exhibit in Nafpaktos, we're going to switch things up completely and we're going to head up to my mom's village, Skala, for something very Greek, a summer panigiri. During the summer, especially in July and August, you'll find panigiria happening in villages all around this area. And not just this area, but most of Greece. They're usually connected to a saint's feast day or a local celebration, and everybody comes together to eat, drink, listen to music, and of course dance. And don't worry if you don't know how to Greek dance, just get in the line, follow the person in front of you, and do your best. Nobody cares. That's half the fun. This one is in Skala, just outside of Nafpaktos, and this is something I would definitely tell you to experience if you happen to be here when there's a panigiri going on. It's not being put on for tourists. This is something we actually do. And here's another example of summer in Nafpaktos. This was a free concert right at Psani. They have one every year. And it's held next to the old harbor walls. They set up the stage right by the water and everyone can come down, listen to the music, and enjoy the evening. That's one of the things I love about being here in the summer. One night you might be at a panigiri up in a village. Another night there's a concert by the sea. And another night you might just end up sitting at the harbor having a drink. There's always a different way to spend your evening. Last concert I'm going to show you was actually a little bit outside of Nafpaktos in Sergoula. Every summer they hold concerts here with different Greek artists, and this year I got to see Yannis Charoulis. I'm not going to play too much of the actual singing because of music copyright, but I really want you to hear some of the melodies and the orchestra because they were absolutely incredible. Even without hearing the whole songs, I think you're going to really you'll get a feel for what the concert was like. It was such a beautiful summer night and there were so many people there, and I think that this is the perfect way to end this section because between the art exhibits, the panigiri, the concerts in town, and events like this in the surrounding area, there's really a lot to experience here during the summer. And finally, I want to show you Nafpaktos at night. This is one of my favorite times to be out in the summer especially. Once the sun goes down and it cools off a little, everybody comes out. Gribovo fills with people, like the cafes are busy, people walking along the water, families are out, and there's just this really relaxed summer atmosphere. And you could just keep walking from Gribovo towards the Venetian Harbor, stop somewhere for a drink or an ice cream, and then continue around toward Psani. You really don't need a plan. There's also the Stenopazaro, which is a little part where all the little restaurants are and tourist shops. Dinner also starts pretty late here. Like, people eat around 10 o'clock. So don't be surprised if you see restaurants and tavernas full of people late into the evening. That's normal here. Nobody's in a hurry. And this is probably the Nafpaktos I love the most. No sightseeing, no schedule, just walking around by the sea on a summer night and enjoying where you are.
But pictures don't do it justice. We were sitting up there, and I took a little video, and it's just not the same on video.
Oh yeah. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it took me a little longer than usual to put it together, but I really enjoyed making it and showing you Nafpaktos the way I experience it. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.